And finally, for the finishing touch on your table, we've got a set of printed napkins. I'm using fabric napkins, but if you don't happen to have any of those in your cupboard, you can use a cotton dish towel, something with a smooth surface, so not terry cloth. Or if you have some thick paper dinner napkins, you can try those. You'll just need to take care in using the slightest amount of paint on those, and of course they'll be single use. Here's what you'll need: fresh herbs or some leaves. I've got some rosemary here. These are from a raspberry bush, a mint plant, and an oak leaf. I'm going to be using the rosemary. You'll need some craft paint. I've got green here I'm going to use. You'll just want to make sure it's acrylic. A paintbrush, a rolling pin, and you'll need some paper towel. So first you'll lay down a couple of sheets of paper towel. I'm going to set these aside. And I'm going to lay the herb down on top of the paper towel so I can paint it. One thing about rosemary, I found it to be helpful just to roll it with the rolling pin a little bit, to flatten it a little bit more if it tends to be a little fuller. You want to get as much of the surface as possible. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint on my surface here. Get some out. You want enough paint so that the surface is covered, but not so much that it's seeping off the sides. So I'm going to paint with the grain here, so to speak. I don't want to paint against the leaves, but try to get as much covered as possible and still maintain their separate shape. I'm going to lift this up a little bit, set it down. You might have to pull those apart a little bit. And a little bit of the stem. Okay. I'm going to slide this over. Position my napkin where I want it. I've got this folded so I know exactly where I want to put this. I'm going to flip it over and set it down gently, and then take some more paper towel and set it on the top of that ever so gently, and then I'm going to roll. This is the tricky part. Getting the right pressure is a little tricky, so you may have to peek by lifting the towel and the leaves to see if enough paint has transferred to the napkin. So we'll take a look and see. That looks pretty good. I'm going to lift, and there we have it. A beautiful one-of-a-kind napkin. So you can let that dry. Repeat it with as many napkins as you'd like. And one thing I'll mention is if you aren't happy with the way it looks, you can immediately rinse this half of the napkin under warm water, squeeze it out and lay it flat, and then you can try again with the other end that's dry. And once it sets, I would leave it for about 24 hours. You can wash it in cold water and line dry it. If you want to iron them, just don't put the hot iron directly on top of the painted design. Put a cloth over the top of it and then iron, and you should be all set to go. So put all together, these projects can give you a lovely summery way to enjoy your outdoor space and bring a little nature to your table. Thanks for stopping by.